Someone on social media threatened to kill my vice president because of something she pointed out about Charlie Kirk. This is the post that got all the attention. It wasn't even her own original thoughts, just a reshare from someone else's social post. So if there are certain nuances that rub you the wrong way, it's not her specifically saying it exactly word for word, just agreeing with the main sentiment. I want to take a moment and break down this message and why this situation is so dangerous and unprecedented. First, the post does not celebrate anyone's death. It doesn't gloat, it doesn't cheer. What it says is that it can be hard for minorities and members of the LGBTQ community and women to express empathy when someone dies who has spent years insulting and belittling them. There's nothing hateful in the message. But here's the part that's really odd. For as much as Kirk's speeches have been dominating headlines, there are surprisingly few clips of what he actually says floating around on social media. And the few that are out there are deeply discouraging. For example, here are his words. Feminism has made women miserable. The more women who enter the workforce, the weaker families become. When women leave home, society collapses. But that's not the worst. Listen to this one, and it's not even the worst, but it's pretty representative of the kinds of things that you might have heard on his podcast.
A lot of them are on birth control too, and birth control really screws up female brains, by the way. Every single one of you need to make sure that your loved ones are not on birth control. It increases depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. Birth control is the #1 most prescribed medication for young ladies under the age of 25. They will give young ladies birth control for pimples, for acne, to control their moods, their period. It is awful, it's terrible, and it creates very angry and bitter young ladies and young women. That bitterness then manifests into a political party that is the bitter party. I mean, the Democrat Party is all about bring us your bitterness and, we'll give you free stuff. It's like we'll trade you, bitterness for stuff, essentially. That's like the Democrat Party.
These are messages of oppression. Birth control is one of the most widely studied and used medical advancements in modern history, with decades of research confirming its safety and effectiveness. When used correctly, hormonal methods like the pill, patch, or IUD are over 99% effective at preventing pregnancy, giving women for the first time in generations the freedom to plan their families and futures. Beyond contraception, birth control also offers important health benefits. It regulates menstrual cycles, reduces painful cramps, lowers the risk of ovarian and endometrial cancers, and treats conditions like polycystic ovary syndrome and endometriosis. Major medical organizations worldwide, including the WHO and the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists, endorse birth control as safe for the vast majority of users. Far from being harmful, access to birth control improves health outcomes, strengthens families, and supports economic stability by allowing women to pursue education and careers without being forced into unplanned parenthood. But many conservatives are pushing these anti-birth control narratives because they see women as nothing more than baby factories for their own agenda. These are more than minor differences of opinion. They're statements that demean half of our population and send a message that women are supposed to be worth less when they pursue independence or leadership or education. That's the context people are reacting to here. Free speech matters, of course it does. But free speech is also a social contract. We tolerate views we don't agree with, and in return we expect to be treated with basic human dignity. Refusing to mourn someone who has spent their career trying to strip away your dignity is not a violation of that contract. It's not violence. It's not celebration. It's choosing not to extend sympathy to someone who never showed sympathy to you. Nobody is celebrating. Nobody is dancing on graves. What's happening is people saying, we lived through his words. We felt their weight, and we're not going to pretend those words didn't matter. That's what's really going on here. I'm Ryan. Click the next video to see a little more.